one of the most trusted former intelligence
Weakening sound?
its defense and intelligence establishment.
Yes, I was.
You were trusted with the most intimate secrets.
Yes.
Grusch sitting down with award-winning investigative journalist Ross Coulthart, who's reporting for News Nation and has spent years reporting on the UFO question.
What conclusion did you come to at the end of your time on the UAP task force?
The UAP task force was refused access to a broad crash retrieval program.
When you say crash retrieval, what do you mean?
These are retrieving non-human origin technical vehicles, call it spacecraft if you will, non-human, exotic origin vehicles that have either landed or crashed.
We have spacecraft from another.
All right, so a couple of things. Everything he's telling us, he didn't see himself. Everything that he says happened, he heard happened. He never saw a spacecraft. He only heard about it. He says he's seen documents, but he doesn't have them. So we don't know if he's telling the truth. And everything he's saying has been cleared by the Pentagon. So he's not blowing any whistle. If it's a whistleblower. He's not a whistleblower. His entire story has been approved by the Pentagon. And so what happens is you're going to blow the whistle. So you want to go talk to the media. This is not just with UFOs, with anything. You're retired military. You want to talk to the media. You want to write a book. You're like a technical consultant on a movie, on a video game, whatever it is. You're retired military. You're going to do that. If you had certain clearances, so I think he says he was top secret clearance. So TSSIC, if you have that kind of clearance, you have to go into the Pentagon and write out everything that you're going to talk about. If you're writing a book about your life, or what you worked on, before you submit to the publisher, you submit to the Pentagon and they go, yeah, no, you get rid of that. Nope. So before Grusch comes out and does his media tour, he gets all that information cleared with the Pentagon. So I don't know how that's blowing the whistle. I don't like his, Steve-O says Doty 2.0. It's something I wanted to tell you is when I hear Doty talk, Doty's smooth. Maybe it's just because he's been telling the story for so long, but we've seen Doty interviews. I mean, I found some that are 30 years old, right? Yeah, I found interviews with him from the 80s. Smooth cat. Elizondo, right? When he talks, feels like he's on your side, on our side, but he's not on our side. Richard Doty's not on our side. This guy reads as not on our side, but not as slick.
Other species.
We do, yeah.
How many?
Quite a number.
You're kidding.
So,
no.
I don't really get into analyzing body language, but if I was going to, he's kind of a case study. He does a lot of, so aliens exist? Absolutely. They absolutely exist. And you're allowed to say all of this? No, I'm blowing the whistle. I can't say any of this. So he does a lot of that. A lot of other visual cues that if you're trying to see if someone was lying, he's giving off the cues. I mean, that's a cue right there, the tightness in the sides of the mouth. He's got some hard swallows in there. He's got a lot of crushing the eyes closed. So, those are signs of anxiety and stress. Now, he could just be nervous because he's on the news. But he's an Air Force combat vet who saw action. So this is scary. That's the thing. His credentials check out. He's Air Force. He was he worked in intelligence. He definitely saw combat. A daydream believer. So it's all about money then. Anthony Goodley, body language. Infinite Adam play the video backwards. That would be interesting. So to me, it reads as rehearsed.
I thought it was totally nuts, and I thought at first I was being deceived. It was a ruse. people started confiding in me. They approached me. I have plenty of current and former senior intelligence officers that came to me, many of which I knew almost my whole career, that confided in me. They were a part of a program.
Just keep your eye on the Headbobs. This is very strange. Big bad big bad Aardwolf. He seems like he's acting. Yeah, it seems like he's got his talking points and now he's delivering them, because he uses a lot of the same terminology. But then again, he's military, so they're going to use the same terminology. But it feels very rehearsed. And it feels like he's just giving his talking points. And he's not comfortable enough on camera. Like Doty is so slick, right? Doty, I mean, if you don't know his story and his history, Doty's very believable. I mean, his interviews are so fun to watch, because if you just take yourself out of knowing that he's, one of the villains of the, of the UFO community, if you forget that he's a villain, he's very fun to listen to. He's very believable, especially now that he's an older guy. It's like crazy grandpa telling you alien stories that he knows about when he was there. But David's not there yet.
Program. I've never heard of it. And
look at the head bobbles.
They told me, based on their oral testimony, and they provided me documents and other proof, that there was in fact
head bobbles, lip smack, hard swallows. So he's got dry mouth. Is he just really nervous? So if I'm running the interrogation, I say keep this guy on ice. This guy's lying. But,
program that the UAP task force was not read into.
Grusch alleges the U.S. government has recovered non-human craft for decades. He's filed a whistleblower complaint saying he gave what he calls the classified proof to Congress and the Intelligence Community Inspector General. News Nation has.
So that's going to be the big thing, the evidence that he gave to Congress, because Congress is looking at it and is going to have hearings on it. So they think that there's enough there to talk about it. So that's good. But if I'm blowing the whistle on something, I'm going to give you everything first. I'm not going to give it to Congress first. And I'm certainly not going to clear it with the Pentagon. So what he's giving to Congress has been cleared. Pentagon believes that whatever he's saying or giving is not a threat to national security. It's not a concern of theirs. And remember, Pentagon, Air Force deny all of this. They say none of this is all fantasy.
Confirmed David Grusch's credentials and resume. We've not.
If you're right, if you're telling us the truth, everyone, the entire American public has been lied to for decades.
Yeah, there's a sophisticated disinformation campaign targeting the U.S. populace, which is extremely unethical and immoral.
You are
Is it?
saying to the human race, for the first time, an official intelligence representative at a high level from the US government is saying publicly, we are not alone.
We're definitely not alone. Absolutely, the data.
Do you see we have a reverse angle. He goes, we're definitely not alone. What is?
Publicly, we are not alone.
We're definitely not alone.
Watch.
Absolutely, the data points
Absolutely
that we're not alone. Yeah.
Do we have bodies? Do we have species of
well, naturally, when you recover something that's either landed or crashed, sometimes you encounter dead pilots. And believe it or not, as fantastical as that sounds, it's true.
Do we see the shake again on it's true?
As fantastical as that sounds, it's true.
I think we got a liar here. I think we have a liar here, which means we have a psyop. So we've got a new Doty.
It's also harder for people to wrap their minds around the concept of a crashed object from somewhere else. It's easier to.
All right, I don't know if they showed her in the Chiron, but she's the reporter that published that story. I think it was in the New York Times. Was it 2017? Where they kind of blew the whistle on everything.
To accept that, yeah, we see things in the sky that we can't explain.
Journalist Leslie Kane broke Grusch's whistleblower story this morning in the debrief. Miss Kane's career has been mainstream and credible. having
Okay, her debrief is not mainstream or credible. It's fun to read, but it's wacky. It's all aliens all the time. Leslie Kane, it was a big story that landed in the Times, but the Times was the only paper to pick it up because other major papers couldn't verify a lot of the facts. They just kind of ran with it, her stories. And she gave an interview. I can't find it on short notice. If I knew she was here, I would have had it ready for you. But she gave an interview for, it was that Showtime documentary. You remember that? Not that long ago. I think it was called UFO. It was really, I mean, it was really good. It was definitely a good watch. Doty's all over it. Dr. Greer's on it. Well, she says the quiet part out loud, and I think accidentally, is she says in a way that her information, that the reason that she wrote the article was to get people to believe in UFOs and aliens. Something like enhanced credibility. It was something like that, which to me sounds more like PSYOP. It sounds like Elizondo and gang, whoever you want to put in there, Christopher Mellon. Some people think he's a good guy, some don't. I'm not sure. But so they put together it, ATIP puts together the talking points, quote unquote, leaks them to the media, and then now we have a new narrative, and that we've had a narrative ever since. And then we've got UFO, we've got Navy videos, and I don't think. Oh yeah, here we got a little bit more.
Don't know each other to make something like this up.
So I've got to be blunt about this.
Yeah.
You're not making this up. This is
No.
not a lie.
No, absolutely not.
Because everybody watching this right now is looking at your face.
Mm-hmm.
They're going, is this guy for real?
I am for real. And I'm sitting here at great personal risk and obvious professional risk by talking to you today.
And just within the last 10 minutes or so, the Pentagon has released.
Hang on.
And just within
obvious professional risk by talking.
Do you see that? Is
I'm
he at
sitting
risk?
here
Yeah, I'm in great risk.
at great personal risk and obvious professional risk by talking to you today.
And just within the last 10 minutes or so, the Pentagon has released a statement to News Nation about this report. They say today.
All right, Scott Pilgrim says he's telling the truth. Hey, man, I want him to be. I want him to be telling the truth. And I said, I told you I'm not a body language analyst. I'm just saying we don't have a lot to go on with him because we haven't seen anything. We just have his story, so we have to look into it. And Scott, if you followed UFO narratives over the years since the 80s, almost everything we know about UFOs has been a lie fed to us by the military-industrial complex. And I don't say that as a tinfoil hatter. I say that that's what has happened. So we have to assume that it is, that he is one of those. We know that he cleared his information with the Pentagon. I'm not guessing that. We know that he did that. So he's saying that the military is perpetrating a fraud and a hoax on American people, but the Pentagon said it's okay to say that. Why? So Gramian says, I know a guy who's known him for 10 years and he's credible. I hope so. I hope you're right. Jacob, he doesn't seem very scared. They don't blow him out or anything. Yeah, his anxiety is not fearing for his life or his career. Big Al, way too relaxed for someone that feels at risk. Yeah, he doesn't feel at risk. That's not true. Now, look, I'm just skeptical about it because I don't, I expect them to lie to us every single time. I want it to be true, but that's what makes it so easy to pull one over on us, is because we all want it to be true. But I don't think it is. Only joking. Is Greer legit? I think Greer was legit. I don't know if he's so legit anymore. Mark Johnson thinks it's a PSYOP. I feel like it's a PSYOP. Username is not with me on this conspiracy. That's cool, man. Look, I'm not here trying to run the guy down. I'm just keeping the guard up, like we all should. He gave documents to Congress, so we'll just see what he gave. We'll see what's there. But if all we have is his interviews, and he's given a few of them, it's all feels sketchy. Mike Sierra wants to look up the Snowden interview. What are we looking up? David, PSYOP covering up a PSYOP is a very interesting comment, because you only engage in a psychological operation if you have a goal or an aim. Typically, that goal is to distract. So, what are we being distracted from? That could be all kinds of things. Bill Wild, some of the files Trump had. And by the way, presidents don't have this information. They don't know the answer. So presidents don't know. They're not told. They're called temps. Military calls presidents temps. Follow the Benjamins. Barr was tweeting about this the other day, that he feels like Grusch has a deal with History Channel or Prometheus. Prometheus is the company that makes Ancient Aliens and all those shows. He feels like that Grusch has a deal. Clearly, Mike doesn't know that, but it's an interesting thought that is he setting the story up, for a show. I don't think so. I don't think this is the way to do it. And if he's hosting that show, he's got to get some media training. But I'm watching the chat. What do you guys think? You believe? We have a couple of believers here, and I actually think that's great. Delta Tango, presidents have no need to know. That's correct. There's no need to read a president in on any of this stuff. They're going to be gone. For Pentagon, it doesn't really matter. They throw a joint chief in there to run interference. They don't care who's in the White House. Every time there's budget cuts, the military goes up. Ryan Barnes wants to believe. I do too, man. Jen's withholding belief. I trust but verify, I think is fine. Wolfkinder thinks it's a PSYOP. Caleb, this guy needs more training. Aaron Skinner, AJ, I want to believe, but I'll always be skeptical. I'll believe when I see it. Nowadays, anything can be fake. That's true. Right? Doesn't it get easier and easier? Now you could fake, between deep fakes and AI voices and stuff, you could fake anything now. We need the documents, and we need other people to corroborate. Now we're coming up on an hour, so it's almost time to bring the gang in. Jen's probably going to want to do a giveaway. She's going to want to do a giveaway. I have. Let me see if I can show you. Oh, this is just something I found that I thought was fun. So this guy sees a UFO over his house, right? And sees a weird light. So he shines his laser pointer at it, and it shines green laser back at him. It's a crazy video. And the whistleblower from 4chan, which I'll talk about tonight if you want me to. I'll ask again when we're done doing housekeeping, but I'll ask again if you want me to go through the 4chan stuff. But before you say yes, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's an hour of talking. But that whistleblower says the alien technology, lasers are a huge, huge part of it. Lasers, fiber optics. And he says that that technology that we have, our laser and fiber optic technology, comes from reverse engineering alien tech. So Nate's a yes on 4chan. If you don't want it, tell me. It's okay to say no. to say that we don't want to spend it on. What If Anything wants Gino's story hour? You're going to get it. Gino even has pictures. He did his show prep homework. He's like a professional broadcaster. Right. So I'll watch the chat and I'll ask again in a little bit after we do some housekeeping. But here's the video. Lasers. Guy shines a laser pointer at this UFO. Look at that.
Oh.
Sí, po, es que debe ser un metal grande o un espejo, no sé por
No,
qué.
claro, porque se dio filete en negocio.
Porque para que.
Beginning again. Oh. Look how accurate this laser is from that far in the sky, right? Like if you take your laser pointer, it looks pretty cool, you know, when it's on the wall and the cat's chasing it. But if you shine it hundreds or 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 feet in the air, you're not going to get a dot like that. So look, I'm not saying it's real. It could be faked. I'm just saying it's interesting, especially because I found this after reading the whistleblower of the 4chan guy who just talked about a lot lasers. And by the way, the lasers, the colors, they have a code that he said. He said like if the UFO is showing red lights, that's defense, you know, warning, defense. Blue lights, blue and white lights are scanning. But he said green lights were life forms, scanning or looking at life forms, I think. But, you know, we'll get it. We'll read it for sure later. But it's interesting that it's a color. And the green lasers are less common, aren't they? Let's see if I can get another frame here. Look, I mean, it's very, very strange to me. Looks very, very accurate. But look, if anyone has found debunking on that, you could drop that in the chat too.